Hey, what's up, fam? Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment for sure. And when you subscribe, hit that notification bell so that every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Hey, today I want to bring the feel good story of the week. And this comes out of California. And it seems like them folk either got a conscience or I don't know. But whatever the case, they're giving land back to the Aboriginal people of of this nation. Uh, Gonna read my notes and I'm gonna give my comments like I normally do. Now, the story states that California lawmakers had unanimously voted to return land worth $72 million on Manhattan Beach to the descendants of wealthy landowners. Now, the Senate bill is 796, and it gives the land back to the descendants of Charles and Willa Bruce, who purchased what is now known as Bruce's Beach in 1912 and built the first resort for black people on the West Coast. Now, if you know, back in the early 1900s, well, since the inception of this country, there's always been racism towards Aboriginal people, and it's always been hard for us to find a place of solace, of peace, to get away from them folk. And so the Bruces built in California, bought parcels of land on a beach in California, and create a place where black folks can go in vacation without having to worry about racism and prejudice from other people. But we'll get to that in a minute. So the transfer of the land was approved by state legislation, but it still has to be approved by Governor Gavin Newsom and county supervisors. Now, if signed, the law will give the land to the grandson Derek Bruce and his sons Anthony and Michael Bruce. Anthony told the BNC News Channel that his dad used to tell him that this land, the Manhattan Beach, that this land is yours. It is your inheritance, but you're going to have to fight for it. But it belongs to the family. Now, as I said before, it said the beach was a popular destination for black families in the early 20th century. The Bruces built a lodge, a cafe, dance hall, and dressing tents, which also included rentable bathing suits. Now, as you could probably imagine, so the KKK tried to burn it down, and white folks used to harass the patrons of the beach. They used to even flatten the tires, and they used to also put up these little fake signs that you got 10 minutes to park here, just to harass and try to run, the Aboriginal people off of the land, which is crazy. I mean, when you sit there and think about it, you got some sick people in the world who are really more concerned about your life than you are. It's like they don't like you. They think you less than them. They think you beneath them, even if they, PYTs or whatever. But because you have something, you did things the right way, created wealth, creating a legacy for your family, they get mad at you to the point where they want to burn down your houses, your businesses, take everything from you because they feel that you don't deserve it, but though you probably work harder than them to get anything, because there's no privilege. You're just doing what everybody else as a human being has a right to do, and that's to build a legacy for your family. And one of my mottos is, I won't make your job harder if you won't make my job harder. So it's like, if I'm doing my thing, you do your thing, everybody can live in peace. No need to take from me because you just hating on somebody because of their skin color. So it's like, you mad because they got a beach. It has nothing to do with you at all. But you're upset because they have somewhere to where they can enjoy themselves and not bother you, and you not bother them. like I said, it's some sick people out there. I mean, sad individuals out there that will go through so to the depth of, to hell and back to make sure you're not happy, and that makes them happy. Lynching people, taking land from them, stealing from them, all this kind of stuff, while all claiming to be Christians or religious folks, or saying that they built this land, built this country on religion, freedom of religion and stuff. But it's more like, man, anyway, let's say so. The beach was taken from the Bruces in 1924 under the guise that the county needed to build a park. Okay. After all the harassment, they said, hey, the county, hey, we need to build a park for people. A park now. Anyway, a park for them folk, not a park for, our people. And say the Bruces was paid $14,500 after they fought in courts and everything. They tried to keep their land. The government took it under eminent domain, which unfortunately is a law. It ain't right, but it is a law. I've seen a lot of people, just like recently in the last 10 years or so, with Cowboy Stadium. When they built that stadium, they, claimed eminent domain. People wouldn't sell their land. People know what the land is worth. You know what it's worth. Because if I want to sell a house, like right now, if I want to sell my house, I know what I can get this house for. So I can get it, and especially with the housing market as it is today, I know exactly what I can get for this house. And if I sold it, I could probably get that. But now if the government felt they needed it and wanted to use it to build a park, they would give me pennies on the dollar, knowing how much this land is worth, knowing how much money they're gonna make off this land. You see what I'm saying? So like I say, eminent domain, like I say, it's a law, but it don't make it right. That's what they did to the people out there. Like I said, with Dallas Cowboy Stadium, they claimed on eminent domain and gave the people pennies. And now Jerry Jones, the Cowboys, and Arlington, Texas, them cats making hella fine money. While those folks got put out, who knows what happened to them? Nobody knows. You don't hear no backstory. You don't hear no continuation story of, what happened to them people. So, but like, it is what it is. Like I say, it's law. That's why people holler about this is the law, and that it's the law that you do this, that, and the third. And that means very little to me, because tomorrow, actually probably by the time I finish this video, any law that's on the books can be changed immediately. So, it is what it is. But like I said, they were paid $14,500 for the land, which in today's money is equivalent to $191,000, which is nothing when, like say the story, say the land is worth $72 million right now. So imagine you having property worth $72 million and someone barely don't even give you $200,000 for it. But like I say, it's the law. Okay, but the thing is, the beach was never turned into a park. Never turned into a park. So that lets you know the racism behind the taking of the land. They said they took the land and then it just sat there. They did nothing to it. It just sat there. Oh, but I'm quite sure that white folks used it because it's on the beach. They used it for their benefit. It was just something just to move the colored man off of the land. We all know that. So like I said, it was never turned to a park. So it was transferred to the state in 1948. Still nothing done with it. And then it was transferred to LA County in 1995. And currently the beach is used as a lifeguard training facility. Like I say, this is great news. You got a family, descendants of a family, who actually, went to court, fought, had people, but they had other people that helped them fight to get this land back to the rightful owners of the land. Now it might have would have been a harder fought battle if, the government actually did something with the land when they took it. Turned it into something, but it didn't. It's still a beach. You got your little houses and stuff out there or whatever. And people go and still, do what they do on the beaches. But like I said, if they would have turned it into something, they would have did more with it. It might have, like I said, would have been a harder battle. But like I said, this is great news for this family. But if this goes through, because it hasn't actually went through and been finalized, because I still got a few steps to go, still got a few people, few groups that has to approve this first. But even if it isn't approved, this can open Pandora's box, as they would say, because you have a lot of people, a lot of Aboriginal people that's native to this land, who own land, whose land was stolen, taken forcefully, just under the guise of really truly racism. You hear stories about in the Oklahoma territories where the natives live there, and that the government moved a bunch of natives to the Oklahoma territory. Specifically, let's talk about like Tulsa or around that area, and then they found out that there was oil under the land, so then they moved those natives to another spot. But like I said, something like this, now you got people. Now's the time. Really is. Now is the time to actually go back and trace your family's history. Do a genealogy research, historical research, to find out where you're from, where your people from, where they lived, the land they had, how was that land obtained, and do what you can to get it back. Because now this isn't the first story of people who got land back. There are stories, you can go online and you'll read stories of people who went back, looked at their family history, saw land that their family owned and that it was stolen, and they actually got the land back. But this is probably the first national story, which I had to kind of like look this up and just was scrolling through and saw it on like someone else's Instagram page, and so I read about it. But this is like the first like major story, of this happening. So there's a book out. So shout out to Dan Calloway. He has a book called Tracing Your Family's Genealogical History by Record. And his book, which I do have it here, his book talks about how you can trace your family history, do the historical searches to see if, like I said, see if you are native to this land, and to see, if there's any kind of property or land, that's owed to you. And it's a short book, but it breaks it down to elementary level steps on how you can do all this. It tells you first talk to your family, talk to your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents, your parents, and talk to them about where they grew up, how they grew up, and things that they heard, things that they know, that they remember as kids. And then you go to the courthouse, and then you go to like the national records. You can go to the library and trace all this, trace these records back. And some of them you have to pay for, a lot of you might have to pay for. A lot of people hit roadblocks, but like I said, this book shows you how to go around, and find the records that you're looking for. And I mean, like I said, now's the time to do it. You got this thing that they want to give you the shot because of the C19 and all the variants, and people are, quitting jobs, and they making you take the shot, or you can't work. So right now it's like the time for you to learn how to be self-sufficient, start your own business, turn your side hustle into a business, whatever it is. You ain't got to get rich off of it. You know what I'm saying? You can but the thing about it is, with the way rent is, rent going up, housing prices going up, the mandates, they're setting mandates, they're making people starting back to pay mortgages and rents and anything else you hadn't paid, student loans, all that stuff about to hit everybody hard. So it's going to be what you call maybe like a Great Recession, Great Depression, something is in the works. It's in the beginning stages right now. So imagine If you got land out there, it don't have to be a lot. It could be half an acre, a couple acres, a couple hundred acres, or whatever. But you got land out there that's rightfully yours, and you find out about it, and you can claim it. Now you have somewhere you can live. You can take your family, just in case it comes down to it that you can't work because you refuse to take the shot, which you know nothing about. It's still in the trial stages. Technically it's still in the trial stages regardless. But if you want to take it, if you don't want to take it, it's up to you. But let's say you don't want to take it. What if you do want to take it because you're tired of wearing but do want to take it, but yet you're tired of wearing masks everywhere. You're tired of going to work, wearing masks, and you see people, whether they take the shot or not, they dying. You just want to get away, live off the grid for a while. And you got your own land to live off the grid. Like I say, then you can turn your little side hustle into a business. Like I say, then you don't really have to worry about getting rich because the land is paid for while you're paying taxes. A lot of these taxes, you pay maybe a few $100s a year on taxes. And you can, build your own house, get your little trailer, double wide manufactured home. Because, sometimes you say trailer, people think way like, TPTs and all that kind of stuff. But, you get your nice little manufactured home for pennies on a dollar, compared to a house with foundation. God, move out to the country and live peaceful for the rest of your life. I'm trying to keep up with the Joneses, not waiting on the government to fix this problem that they created, they helped create. But like I say, this story is a great example of what hard work and perseverance can do. Now, like I said, I've done a video on how the government took land from brothers and sisters living up here in Denton. And they was, it was a freedman town, former slaves, but their own time, doing their own things, living good. Then people were mad, people were jealous, people building a school, claiming that they need to save, the pure white girl, because, make sure, because you got these Aboriginal people over here that might go over there and try to do bad things to these girls. But these are family people that they talking about. But that's how they put it. Ended up taking their land and moving them to a whole nother side, unincorporated side of town, which didn't have nothing. And and it just they just destroyed, just took away the town. And also touched on like Lake Grapevine and Bob Jones, how he owned hundreds of thousands of acres out there in South Lake or what have you. And they took his land and flooded it, created a lake. And I'm sure there are hundreds and thousands of stories of this going on around the country. So if everybody, like I say, do a historical search, there's no telling what you'll find. Like I said, start with that Dane Calloway book. Start there, and like I say, and it'll show you exactly how they give you steps on how to trace back your history. Now, you may or may not find nothing, and that's fine. But you'll never know unless you try, right? So what's funny, at the bottom of the article, now I've had people tell me to stop calling all people Aboriginal, say that sounds like I'm a crack or a quack or whatever you want to call it. But yet, and I did a rebuttal video on that to explain the reason for that name and how that's rightfully our name. But then you read this article and go to the bottom of this article, and there's a quote that says, and this is a relative of the Bruces, and it said, "What we want is restoration of our land to us and restitution for the loss of revenues," unquote. And this is a quote by a brother named Dwayne Yellowfeather Shepherd, who's the chief of the Boycott Wampanoag tribe of the Boycott Nation. And when you look at this picture, this is a brother who's a chief of an Indian tribe. An Indian tribe, quote unquote, we call it Indian because that's what they, whatever, but the Indian tribe that was actually the original tribe that pilgrims saw when they came over here. So, what does that tell? I don't even have to ask you what that tells you. That says enough. That shows you right there why anytime somebody, I get a form now and I fill out a form and it asks me what my race and ethnicity, and it says, the black, African American, white, Hispanic, all that kind of stuff, or other. I choose other now. And I put Aboriginal American because that's what I am. I know that on my mother's side, my grandmother was half Choctaw. This I know just by research alone. So when I put Aboriginal, when I say Aboriginal, I can say that with 100% certainty that I know what I'm talking about. And then but the problem is, people deal with the census. People are happy when them people, they're content. When them people tell you something and they tell you to do something and live by some way, you're like, okay, well, if they said it must be law. As a matter of fact, quick example. And let me see, how can I say this without putting too much information out there? Okay. At my job, you look up people's information and you look at the demographics. And this person, when you look at the demographics, when it says race, which is something that's made up, go to shout out to Brother Neely Fuller. I gotta read his book. I got that book. Read his book, watch the videos, any video you see on him, watch those. But anyway, the race, this person says white. First thing I do, raise an eyebrow. Because I know doggone well this person isn't quote unquote white. But the ethnicity says Hispanic or Latin. Now, a lot of people who don't really understand this process of the importance of that. When you hear stuff like race, and you hear, what race are you? Black, white, non-Hispanic, or white Hispanic, or what have you. Say white. Census-wise, government-wise, that affects funding from the government because it goes by race, not ethnicity. You understand what I'm saying? So so we have Hispanic people. They say, hey, you're not white, you're not black, but you're more white than black. So we're just gonna put white as a race. Put that down, and then under ethnicity, you can put, Hispanic, or or what have you, or non. You can put Hispanic, Latin descent, and that's crazy because they only give you a couple of choices. They don't give them a couple of choices to choose who they want to be. But it also, like I say, it helps with the white race census and, like I said, with the government funding and the population control and all that, because when you look at studies, it shows you that the true white race, the population is dwindling because a lot of them are having these abortions. That's why in Texas you got the governor who's trying to kill it, stop these, bad word, is trying to stop these abortions because it ain't us, it ain't our people that are having the most abortions. It's them. And the statistics show, and they're having harder times having children. So, like I said, it's a whole, it's what they say, the rabbit hole goes pretty deep if you just pay attention. But anyway, that's all I got. I'm gonna end that story here. But like I said, shout out to the Bruces. It's been nearly 100 years, about nearly 100 years for this wrong to be righted. Like I say, still ain't completely done, but I'm quite sure with it being, in the public domain like this in the news, I'm quite sure it's a great chance for it to go through. But hey, tell me what y'all think. Like I said, I like it. It's a good story. But like I said, with them, I'm already on the trail. I've already got my actions in motion. So I'm not. This is This only validates, you know what I'm saying, the things that I'm doing. But hopefully everybody else get on the same page. Don't sell your grandmama's house. Period. Land is wealth. It's been like that since the beginning of time. Read your Bible, since a lot of your grandparents go to church. Read your scripture. You'll see land is wealth. Sure, you own land, man. So you can write your own ticket for anything, and they know this. Your grandparents knew this. Your great grandparents knew this. So why the heck you don't know this? You can use that land to business loans. Do that to help put your kids through colleges, and the interest rate is dirt cheap. So get you some land. So like I said, never don't sell grandmama house, grandparent, granddad in them house. Matter of fact, should go to some of these dang county, go to some of these courthouses, these tax offices. Should find you some land out there somewhere that people ain't paid taxes on, especially out in Texas. You can man, you can go claim the tax, you can pay the tax on land, claim that land, and I think it's 2 years. If nobody comes back and claim that land in 2 years, it's yours. How do I know? Because I've seen it happen. I've seen people get land like that, so it's possible. But anyway, that's my point of the story, man. Just we got, just look out for your family, build your legacy. And with that being said, like I said before, hey, like, share, be sure to comment. If you ain't subscribed, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. You want to support the channel, go down to the description box, hit the website, buy purchase some of the merchandise. I also have a CashApp. I also have a Patreon page that's it's open, but it's still in development. And also, hey, if you got your own YouTube channel or you're trying to start your YouTube channel, hit that TubeBuddy link down in the description box. That there will help you streamline your YouTube channel, make your videos, make it easier, help you with the algorithms and the keywords and try to get you more views, on your channel, to where you can build your channel and help it grow and get that sun gun monetized. But with that being said, I leave you in the same way that I came, and that is with peace.